There comes a moment in every person's life when everything they thought they could depend on suddenly disappears. The money is gone. The success is gone. The people they trusted are gone. And when the noise finally fades away, they are left alone with the one person they have been avoiding their entire life: themselves. Years ago, there was a man who had everything most people spend their entire lives chasing. He had comfort. He had recognition. He had the confidence that came from believing he had finally figured life out. But then, in a matter of months, everything changed. The things he built disappeared. The people who surrounded him walked away. The identity he created for himself completely collapsed. And standing in the middle of his own failure, he faced the hardest question anyone can face. If I lose everything I have, who am I? Most people never ask themselves that question until life forces them to. But sometimes losing everything isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it is the moment when the real story finally begins. Because the greatest transformations don't happen when life gives us everything we want. They happen when life takes away everything we thought we needed. Stay with me until the end, because this story may change the way you look at failure, loss, and the person you are capable of becoming. And if you're someone who believes that a stronger life is built through stronger thinking, subscribe and join this journey of growth. Now let me tell you the story of the man who lost everything and discovered what truly mattered. There comes a moment in every person's life when everything they thought they could depend on suddenly disappears. The money is gone. The success is gone. The people they trusted are gone. And when the noise finally fades away, they are left alone with the one person they have been avoiding their entire life: themselves. Years ago, there was a man who had everything most people spend their entire lives chasing. He had comfort. He had recognition. He had the confidence that came from believing he had finally figured life out. But then, in a matter of months, everything changed. The things he built disappeared. The people who surrounded him walked away. The identity he created for himself completely collapsed. And standing in the middle of his own failure, he faced the hardest question anyone can face: if I lose everything I have, who am I? Most people never ask themselves that question until life forces them to. But sometimes losing everything isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it is the moment when the real story finally begins. Because the greatest transformations don't happen when life gives us everything we want. They happen when life takes away everything we thought we needed. Stay with me until the end, because this story may change the way you look at failure, loss, and the person you are capable of becoming. And if you're someone who believes that a stronger life is built through stronger thinking, subscribe and join this journey of growth. Now let me tell you the story of the man who lost everything and discovered what truly mattered. There was a time when this man believed he understood success. He believed success was measured by what you owned, the size of your house, the amount of money in your bank account, the respect you received from people around you, the feeling of walking into a room and knowing that others recognized your name. And honestly, can you blame him? The world teaches us from a young age that these things define us. We are told that success means reaching a certain position, having a certain lifestyle, being admired by others. So this man spent years building the image of someone who had made it. Every morning, he woke up with confidence. Every decision he made seemed to move him forward. Every risk he took seemed to pay off. People looked at him and thought, that man has everything figured out. But what people saw from the outside was only one side of the story. Because sometimes the most dangerous place a person can be is a place where they become comfortable. Success can teach you discipline, but success can also make you forget the discipline that created it. And slowly, without realizing it, this man started changing. The hunger that once pushed him forward became weaker. The desire to improve became replaced by the desire to protect what he already had. He stopped asking himself, how can I become better? And started asking, how can I make sure I don't lose what I have? That is a subtle difference. But it changes everything, because growth requires movement. And the moment you stop growing, you begin falling behind. A tree that stops growing does not remain the same forever. It begins to weaken. The same thing happens to people. Your skills need sharpening. Your mind needs expanding. Your character needs strengthening. Because the moment you believe you have arrived, life has a way of reminding you that the journey never ends. And that's exactly what happened to him. The first sign was small, almost invisible. A decision here, a shortcut there, a promise to himself that he would fix things later. But later has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Because failure at least forces you to pay attention. Later allows you to slowly drift. And drifting is dangerous because you don't notice how far you have moved away from where you wanted to be. One day, he looked around and realized something had changed. The passion he once had was missing. The discipline he once carried had become weaker. The person who had once chased growth was now simply maintaining comfort. And comfort is one of the greatest traps in life, because comfort feels like peace, until you realize it has been keeping you away from your potential. Then came the moment that changed everything. A series of events began unfolding that he never expected. The business decisions he thought were safe started failing. The opportunities he counted on disappeared. The people who once surrounded him began slowly stepping away. And the most painful part was not losing the things. The most painful part was watching his identity disappear with them. Because when you build your entire identity around external things, what happens when those things are gone? Who are you when the title disappears? Who are you when the money disappears? Who are you when nobody is clapping anymore? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are important, because every person eventually reaches a moment where life asks them, are you strong because of what you have, or are you strong because of who you are? This man was about to discover the answer. Within a short period of time, everything he thought made him valuable started disappearing. The lifestyle changed. The conversations changed. The people changed. And suddenly, the man who once felt untouchable found himself sitting alone with his thoughts. No distractions, no applause, no image to maintain, just himself. And that silence was painful, because silence reveals things that noise allows us to ignore. It reveals the fears we hide, the weaknesses we avoid, the mistakes we refuse to admit. For the first time in years, he had no choice but to look inward, and what he discovered shocked him. He realized that he had spent so much time building his life, but not enough time building himself. He had focused on collecting things, but neglected developing the person who was supposed to carry those things. He had built a house, but forgotten to build the foundation. And when the storm arrived, everything collapsed. But here is what he learned. The collapse was not meant to destroy him. It was meant to reveal him. Sometimes life removes the things we depend on because we have forgotten the strength we already possess. Sometimes losing what is temporary allows us to discover what is permanent. Your possessions can disappear. Your position can disappear. Other people's opinions can disappear. But the knowledge inside your mind, the discipline inside your character, the courage inside your heart, those are things nobody can take away. And that was the beginning of his transformation. Not when he regained his wealth. Not when people started respecting him again. Not when his circumstances improved. His transformation began when he stopped asking, why did this happen to me? And started asking, what is this trying to teach me? That one question changed everything, because victims look for someone to blame, but builders look for something to learn. Victims focus on what was taken away. Builders focus on what can be created next. And slowly, day by day, this man began rebuilding. But this time, he wasn't rebuilding the life he lost. He was rebuilding himself. Because the old version of him was the person who lost everything. But the new version of him was the person who finally understood everything. The hardest battles in life are not always the ones that happen around you. The hardest battles are the ones that happen inside you. Because when everything is taken away, You are forced to confront a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You cannot build a powerful life with a weak foundation. This man had lost his comfort. He had lost his reputation. He had lost the things that once made him feel important. But what he didn't realize was that losing those things created space for something far greater. A new mindset, a stronger character, a completely different version of himself. The world thought he had fallen, but they didn't understand something. Sometimes the fall is not punishment. Sometimes the fall is preparation. Because the person who has never experienced loss will never understand the power of rebuilding. In this next part of the story, you will discover the moment when this man stopped searching for what he lost and started creating what he was capable of becoming. Stay until the end, because the lesson hidden inside this transformation is something every person needs to hear when life feels uncertain. And if you're committed to becoming stronger through every challenge, subscribe and continue this journey with us. Now let's return to the moment where everything changed, when a broken man began building himself again. The hardest battles in life are not always the ones that happen around you. The hardest battles are the ones that happen inside you. Because when everything is taken away, you are forced to confront a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You cannot build a powerful life with a weak foundation. This man had lost his comfort. He had lost his reputation. He had lost the things that once made him feel important. But what he didn't realize was that losing those things created space for something far greater. A new mindset, a stronger character, a completely different version of himself. The world thought he had fallen. But they didn't understand something. Sometimes the fall is not punishment. Sometimes the fall is preparation. Because the person who has never experienced loss will never understand the power of rebuilding. In this next part of the story, you will discover the moment when this man stopped searching for what he lost and started creating what he was capable of becoming. Stay until the end, because the lesson hidden inside this transformation is something every person needs to hear when life feels uncertain. And if you're committed to becoming stronger through every challenge, subscribe and continue this journey with us. Now let's return to the moment where everything changed, when a broken man began building himself again. For the first time in his life, this man had nothing left to prove. And strangely enough, that was the moment when he became truly powerful. Because when you have everything, it is easy to believe you are strong. When people praise you, when opportunities surround you, when success follows every decision you make, confidence comes naturally. But what happens when all of that disappears? What happens when nobody is watching? What happens when the world stops reminding you of your value? That is where real strength is discovered. Not in moments of victory, but in moments when you have every reason to quit and you choose to continue anyway. The first few weeks after losing everything were the hardest. Every morning, he woke up with the same painful reminder. His old life was gone. The life he spent years building had changed overnight. The routines he once followed no longer existed. The people he once called friends were no longer around. The confidence he once carried had been replaced by uncertainty. And uncertainty is one of the greatest challenges a person can face. Because human beings naturally search for security. We want guarantees. We want to know that our plans will work. We want to know that our efforts will be rewarded. But life does not make those promises. Life will test you. Life will challenge you. Life will remove things you thought you could never live without. And the question is not whether challenges will come. The question is, who will you become when they do? For a while, this man made the same mistake many people make after failure. He looked backward. He replayed every decision, every mistake, every moment where he thought things could have gone differently. He asked himself, why did this happen? Why did I lose everything? Why didn't I see it coming? But those questions kept him trapped in the past, and the past cannot be rebuilt. The only place where your power exists is in the present moment. The turning point came when he finally understood something important. Failure was not asking him to return to who he was. Failure was asking him to become someone new. That realization changed his entire perspective. Because sometimes the life you lose is the life that was preventing you from becoming the person you were meant to be. Think about a seed. Before a seed becomes a tree, it must first be buried. It must experience darkness. It must break apart. From the outside, it looks like destruction. But beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. Growth is beginning. The same thing happens with people. There are seasons in life where you feel buried, where everything feels uncertain, where you question whether you will ever rise again. But sometimes those seasons are not destroying you. They are developing you. The pressure is creating strength. The struggle is creating wisdom. The pain is creating a deeper understanding of yourself. This man started doing something he had avoided for years. He started rebuilding his habits. Not because he felt motivated, but because he finally understood that motivation was never the foundation. Discipline was. He woke up earlier. He started reading again. He invested time into learning. He took responsibility for his mistakes. And slowly something began changing. Not around him, inside him. His circumstances had not transformed yet. His bank account had not recovered. The world had not suddenly recognized him again. But he was becoming stronger. And that was something no one could take away. Because true transformation always happens internally before it becomes visible externally. People often look at successful individuals and only see the final result. They see the confidence. They see the achievements. They see the lifestyle. But they don't see the lonely mornings. They don't see the failures. They don't see the moments when quitting seemed easier. They don't see the battles fought in silence. Every great comeback begins with a person making a decision when nobody else believes in them. That decision is simple. I will not allow this moment to define me. This man had every excuse to give up. He could blame the people who left. He could blame the circumstances. He could spend years explaining why life was unfair. But he realized something powerful: blaming the past does not create the future. Responsibility does. The moment you accept responsibility for your life, you become dangerous. Because now you stop waiting for someone else to save you. You stop hoping for luck. You stop looking for shortcuts. You begin creating. And creators are different. Creators understand that even when everything is gone, they still have the ability to start again. They still have their mind. They still have their experience. They still have their ability to learn. They still have their ability to make better choices. The world can take away many things, but it cannot take away the person you choose to become. And that was the greatest lesson this man learned. Losing everything does not mean you have nothing. Sometimes losing everything means you finally discover what you truly have. You have your character. You have your lessons. You have your resilience. You have the ability to rebuild. But rebuilding is not easy. The old version of yourself will fight to survive. Your fears will remind you of your failures. Your doubts will tell you that maybe you are not capable. Your past will try to convince you that your future will look the same. But you must understand something. Your past is a teacher, not a prison. The mistakes you made are not your identity. The failures you experienced are not your destiny. They are simply chapters, and chapters can change. This man eventually realized that the greatest comeback was not about proving others wrong. It was about proving to himself that he could trust himself again. That was the real victory. Because when you lose trust in yourself, everything becomes difficult. But when you rebuild that trust, nothing can stop you. Every promise you keep to yourself becomes a brick. Every difficult choice becomes a foundation. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you become stronger. And slowly, a new person begins to emerge. A person who no longer fears losing everything, because they understand something most people never learn. If you can rebuild yourself once, you can rebuild yourself again and again. The man who lost everything discovered that the greatest thing he could ever gain was himself. There is a moment in every comeback story when the world finally notices what was happening in silence. The person everyone counted out begins rising. The person everyone thought was finished begins rebuilding. And the person who lost everything discovers that they were never truly broken. They were being rebuilt, because the greatest victories in life are not always about what you gain. Sometimes the greatest victory is becoming someone who can never be destroyed by losing again. This man's journey was never really about money. It was never really about success. It was never about proving anything to the people who walked away. It was about discovering a truth that changed everything. When you build yourself from the inside out, no external loss can ever take away your power. But the final lesson of this story is the one most people ignore. A comeback is not created by wishing for a better life. It is created by becoming the kind of person who is ready for a better life. So stay with me until the end, because the final chapter reveals the mindset that turns failure into fuel and loss into the beginning of something greater. And if you believe that every challenge carries a lesson, subscribe and continue this journey. Now let's see how the man who lost everything finally found what mattered most. There is a moment in every comeback story when the world finally notices what was happening in silence. The person everyone counted out begins rising. The person everyone thought was finished begins rebuilding. And the person who lost everything discovers that they were never truly broken. They were being rebuilt. Because the greatest victories in life are not always about what you gain. Sometimes the greatest victory is becoming someone who can never be destroyed by losing again. This man's journey was never really about money. It was never really about success. It was never about proving anything to the people who walked away. It was about discovering a truth that changed everything. When you build yourself from the inside out, no external loss can ever take away your power. But the final lesson of this story is the one most people ignore. A comeback is not created by wishing for a better life. It is created by becoming the kind of person who is ready for a better life. So stay with me until the end, because the final chapter reveals the mindset that turns failure into fuel and loss into the beginning of something greater. And if you believe that every challenge carries a lesson, subscribe and continue this journey. Now let's see how the man who lost everything finally found what mattered most. Months passed, and something remarkable started happening. People who had once seen him as a failure began noticing something different. Not a sudden change in his circumstances, not a dramatic overnight success, something deeper, something more powerful. They noticed his presence had changed. The way he spoke had changed. The way he carried himself had changed. Because when a person rebuilds themselves from the inside, the world eventually notices the difference. You cannot fake inner transformation. You can pretend to be confident. You can pretend to be successful. You can pretend to have everything together. But when life takes away the things you used to hide behind, only one thing remains: who you truly are. And this man had finally discovered himself. The person who once measured his worth by what he owned was gone. In his place stood someone who understood that real wealth was never found in possessions. Real wealth was found in wisdom, in discipline, in character, in the ability to stand back up after being knocked down. He learned something that many people spend their entire lives trying to understand. Your circumstances do not define you. Your response to your circumstances defines you. Two people can experience the same failure. One person sees the end. Another person sees the beginning. The difference is not always the situation. The difference is the mindset. The man who lost everything could have chosen bitterness. He could have spent years blaming others. He could have allowed one chapter of his life to become the entire story. But he made a different choice. He decided that his pain would become his teacher. He decided that his mistakes would become his wisdom. He decided that his loss would become the foundation for something stronger. And that decision changed everything. Because the strongest people are not the ones who never fall. The strongest people are the ones who learn how to rise. Life will test everyone. No person escapes difficulty. At some point, everyone faces a moment where they lose something. A relationship, an opportunity, a dream, a position, a version of themselves they thought they would always be. And when that moment arrives, you have a choice. You can ask, why is this happening to me? Or you can ask, what is this trying to teach me? The first question keeps you trapped. The second question sets you free. Because every challenge carries a lesson. Every failure carries information. Every difficult season carries an opportunity to grow. But you must be willing to look for it. The problem is that most people only want the reward. They don't want the process. They want success without sacrifice, confidence without struggle, strength without pressure. But life does not work that way. A muscle grows because it is challenged. A diamond is created because of pressure. A strong character is developed because of adversity. The same difficulties that break one person can build another. The difference is whether you allow the struggle to make you smaller or allow it to make you stronger. This man discovered that losing everything gave him something he never had before: perspective. Before, he was chasing success because he wanted to prove he was valuable. After losing everything, he started pursuing growth because he understood he already had value. That is a powerful transformation. Because when you stop chasing approval from others, you become free. You no longer need everyone to believe in you. You no longer need everyone to understand your journey. You no longer need everyone to see your vision. The person building their future must sometimes walk alone. There will be seasons where nobody claps. Nobody notices. Nobody understands. But that does not mean you are failing. Sometimes the quiet seasons are where the greatest growth happens. A seed grows underground before anyone sees the tree. Your progress may be invisible today, but invisible does not mean non-existent. Every disciplined action is building something. Every lesson is preparing you. Every challenge is shaping you. The person you become tomorrow is created by what you choose today. That is why you cannot waste your difficult moments. Your pain can either become your prison or become your power. The choice is yours. The man who lost everything eventually regained many things. But the most important thing he gained was not money. It was not status. It was not recognition. It was confidence in himself. He knew that no matter what happened, he could rebuild. And that confidence is priceless. Because once you know you can survive your worst moments, fear loses its control over you. You stop living carefully. You stop avoiding challenges. You stop running from uncertainty. You start moving with courage. Because you understand, I have already survived things I thought would destroy me. And that realization changes a person forever. So if you are watching this right now, and you feel like you have lost something, remember this story. Maybe you lost an opportunity. Maybe you lost a relationship. Maybe you lost time. Maybe you lost the person you used to be. But losing something does not mean your story is over. Sometimes the greatest chapter begins after the hardest one. The question is not, what did you lose? The better question is, what can you build now? Because your future is not created by what happened yesterday. Your future is created by what you choose today. You can remain stuck in the pain of what is gone, or you can begin building the possibility of what comes next. The man who lost everything learned that life was never about holding on to everything. It was about becoming someone strong enough to handle anything. And that is the lesson you must remember. Things can be taken away. Circumstances can change. People can leave. Plans can fail. But if you continue building yourself, you will always have the ability to begin again. Never forget, a person who has everything but lacks character can lose everything. But a person who has character can lose everything and still rebuild a life greater than before. So take your lessons, carry your wisdom, strengthen your mind, and move forward. Because your greatest chapter may not be behind you. It may be waiting for you on the other side of your struggle. The man who lost everything did not discover the end of his life. He discovered the beginning of his true life. And sometimes, losing everything is the moment you finally find yourself.